Write a check. Good.
Oh, yeah, okay. To pay by credit card.
You can pay by credit card. That's a good one. Okay.
Mhm. And to pay by cash. Well, no, you wouldn't pay by cash. Nobody does that. Oh, okay. Do electronic check transfer.
Yes. And then how we did that, how we entered that was through the check register. Okay. What's the last one that we, okay, besides credit cards, because I didn't talk about credit cards yet.
Okay.
What's the third way of
Oh,
how you are able to pay off these expenses?
the first way was checking account,
Mm-hmm.
writing a check. Guess I should say,
Mm-hmm.
and then um, uh, we said you said don't put credit card yet because we.
Yeah, not yet, because credit card's gonna come after this.
Okay, and okay then the doing a wire transfer or electronic transfer.
Oh, okay. And then what's the
Okay,
last one?
and then the last one would be okay, check writing a check, doing electronic transfer. You said no, not to use a credit card. It wouldn't be cash because we're not going to give anyone cash. Um,
Yes, you can record a crash transaction.
oh, well, that's true, yeah. But I guess I'm thinking nobody, usually people pay by check or credit card.
Okay, what I mean by method of paying these expenses off is how are you going to use QuickBooks to record that you've made this payment?
Oh, okay.
There are three ways I taught you to do, and that's all up to today.
Okay, so I'm going to cross all those methods of payments. We're really looking for methods of
Mm-hmm.
recording payment.
Okay, yes, even better.
Okay, we're to record. Okay, record payments three ways.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we can go to the vendors, right?
Okay,
Vendor
okay.
center.
Okay, now I'm just asking you how do you just pay the expenses? Like really basic. It's how do you pay your expenses off? A real basic question. How do you pay your expenses?
Well, I pay mine with checks.
Okay, there you go. Okay, that is one method, and that is the correct. Yes, that's good. Okay, good. I'm referring to exactly what Andrea's saying. She's paying off her expenses by writing a check.
Right.
How else can we record it in QuickBooks that we paid an expense off?
Oh, well, okay, I'm not following the question. Okay, so by checks, by electronic transfer, fund transfer.
Okay, and how did we do that one?
Through the bank.
Through the bank. Yes, you use it through your check register. Thank you. There's a second method right there
Okay.
by just
Right.
directly entering
Ah,
in
okay.
into the
Check
check register.
register.
Okay, good.
Right. Yes,
The
that is
second
basic.
Yes, the
Yes,
second
it
one
really
is
is.
yes, you guys are thinking too
Uh-huh,
hard. You guys are thinking
uh-huh.
way too hard.
Yes.
Okay? All right. So that's there's three, well there's four in total because we didn't talk about credit cards just yet.
Yes.
Um okay. So what are the
Checks, the check
mhm,
register
the
is
check
the third
register?
one.
Well, tell me, what did I teach you the entire time? The last 20 minutes of class.
Okay, well, we're all over the place. I'm not able to organize, what the real question is.
The real
So
the real
we are registering into QuickBooks the checks that we're writing to pay a bill
okay.
and into check register to transfer the funds.
It doesn't have to be just transferring funds. It's just to update the check register itself. Let's say if I wrote a physical check outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I need to come back to QuickBooks because I made a transaction without telling QuickBooks that I made a transaction. So I need to update QuickBooks saying I wrote a check.
Mm-hmm. Well, your bank statement's one way that you'd know also.
We'll talk about that when we move into reconciliation.
Okay.
But in this case, I'm asking you the basic question. How do you pay off your bill?
Okay, well, all I think of is a checking in the bank, so.
Okay, good. Okay, but okay, so what was the entire time I taught you about I taught you the third one, and we did extensively. We explored the ways how to enter the bill, and we explored all the ways how to pay the bill.
Right.
That's the third way.
Oh,
Okay, I don't know if you guys are just thinking way too hard, or because when I'm explaining this to you in my head, it's very clear how I'm explaining it to you. But right now, I don't know where the connection is making a disconnect. All I'm asking you is, how do you normally pay your bills?
yeah, and as I said, checking, writing a
Yeah,
check. to
exactly.
the bank,
You would update your
Yeah,
check, right?
to
Because
the
if you
bank,
did a check, if
check
you
register.
exactly your check register, you would update your check register. Okay.
Right, you'd update the check register.
The second way is to write a check. You don't have to. You don't have to update your register because you're writing a check already.
Well, yeah, that's right, okay.
And then the third way of doing that is if you have entered a bill in order to get rid of that bill, you need to pay your bill through the pay bills option.
Oh, yeah,
And
I
through
didn't
the
know that's
I
what you're
didn't know.
talking about.
okay,
Yeah,
and
I
through
didn't know
okay,
that's
through
what you.
Yeah,
the
now I
pays
get
bills
what you're talking about.
option allows you to either do cash, check, credit card. It allows you to pay whatever you want to do it in. Okay.
That gives you
Right.
the option,
Okay.
right,
I get
okay.
the question now.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too.
Where
All right.
it was a really basic question I'm asking. How do you just pay your bills off in general? Just
Yeah.
how do you just get rid of that?
Yeah,
All
Okay.
right.
Well, I mean, physically we write a check, but the
Right.
record is these things that you're talking
Yes.
about.
yeah, the check
Yes.
register
Okay.
and the pay
Yes.
bills option, right.
Okay. Now, why? Okay. So for the third choice that you have, right? What is the condition that you have to have? What do you need to do first in order to use the pay bill option?
You have to enter the bills.
You have to enter the bills. Okay. So what is the purpose of you entering a bill?
To
So that-
keep track of it.
Exactly.
Track of what you owe, right.
Exactly. And essentially, if you're keeping tracking of what you're owing, what are you increasing? What account are you increasing?
Your accounts payable.
Your accounts payable. There you go. That's it.
Oh,
Every time you enter a bill, you're creating accounts payable.
right, right.
In order to decrease the accounts payable, you need to use the pay bill option.
Oh,
Right,
okay, I
okay.
see what you're saying.
Okay, so you see, and then even looking at this graphic depiction right here on the home page, if you're going to enter a bill, if you follow this line across, the next thing that you need to do is you need to pay your bill,
Right,
right? And how are you going to pay your bill? Well, you have an option there. You can either pay with cash, card, credit card, check, electronic transfer. I don't know. They give you options on how you want to pay it. Okay. Now that we finally resolved and cleared up that, all right. Now, because QuickBooks tries to make you entering a bill or paying your bill with ease, right? They put
okay.
all the options available for you so you can easily pay your bills in a quick instance, right? So, for example, I'm going to go to my vendor center, right? I've already explored all of my ways to try to pay my bill, right? I even went down to the point where I actually opened up my bill. So I'm seeing it right now, right? This is Orlando Properties.
Right.
Right here, I can choose to pay the bill right here. Okay? Now, if I were, so let's say, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to choose to pay this $1,500 debt. So if I go to my bill tracker, so I'm gonna skew off a little bit, okay? If I go to my bill tracker, right now, it gives me a list of all the bills that I have currently paid. Okay, so these two are already paid because transactions have already occurred. If I look at the very top of my bill tracker, right, it keeps track of my unbilled, which we don't have any. Okay, we have my unpaid, which right now I owe $16.42. All right, and that's because I owe Wong and Son $146. Right, where is it? I owe them $142, and then I have a rent payment for $1,500. So here, this is a perfect depiction of all of my total bills I haven't paid yet.
Oh,
And then here is how much I have that's overdue and which ones I still currently am working on, right? And then here is going to give me my total paid amount. So here, by looking at my bills, I've already made a payment for 128 and 162. If you add those two together, it's going to give you 291. So this is what a bill tracker does. It gives you an overview of all your bills, how much you owe, and how much of it have you actually paid. Okay? All right. So here we notice we have 1642, right? And if we go ahead and pay off this bill right here, right? I'm going to go ahead and pay it off by clicking this pay bill option. By doing that, I'm going to get this little window. This is your pay bill option window. What's going to happen is it's going to ask me, do I want to show all my bills? And in this case, I'm in a specific vendor, so I'm looking at a specific bill, so it's only going to show me this bill. Okay? If I decided to just put in a random one in here, then I'm going to show up everybody else's bills that I have currently. But in this case, I'm in a specific vendor, I'm at the specific bill, and I'm using the pay option. So here it's asking me, I am going to select it. So if you see if it's not checked, then you're not going to pay any bill. If you check it, I'm going to pay this bill.
Right.
Then we get to the bottom half is, well, how are you going to pay it? You can go check out the bill yourself. I'm going to make sure that I make this payment date available on, let's say I do, I'm going to keep it on the 3rd of August because it's Monday, right? Usually, businesses work on Monday, so there's no point for me to write a check for August 1st if no business runs over the weekend. So I'm going to make my assumption and I'm going to make my bill paid on the 3rd of August. Okay? And how am I going to pay it? I have choices here. I can either use a credit card or a check. So in this case, it's only limiting to me of what I can do. Why? Because I didn't create multiple accounts yet. I didn't create 3 different checking accounts. I didn't enter in all my credit card information yet. I only have 2 options to pay. And it's either I write a check or I go ahead and pay with a credit card. And in this case, most rent payments, you're more likely not supposed to be paying with a credit card. You have to actually pay it directly from your bank. So then my option here is do I want it to be printed or do I want to assign the check number? And in this case, I want to assign the check number. So if you guys remember, I had 625. So that means this check number is going to be 626. I want to make sure I look at all of this. Obviously, I don't get a discount. You don't get discount on rent. Okay.
No.
And I have no credit for my rent. I didn't make a boo-boo or anything like that. So nothing I can credit for. All right. Here, I would need to make sure that I take it out of the correct place, which is my checking account. Okay. And I can go ahead and click Pay Selected Bills. Once I do that, then I get this little pop-up window saying, well, what do you want to assign the check number to be? And again, it's supposed to be 626, I think. It's supposed to automatically assign it for you.
Yeah.
But anyways, let QuickBooks, okay, no, we do this one. There you go.
Yeah.
If we click that one, it should say it for you. Now, this is just in case you have a separate checkbook, again, then you can put your own number in there. But in this case, if I select let QuickBooks assign it for me, it will take the last check that I've written for and it continue its association. So it was for 626. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to click OK. Now I get that little beep of approval. And here is my little section here that allows me to see what my check is. Do I want to print it now? Do I want to continue? I'm going to go ahead and click done. Okay. Now that I've already paid this, it's going to let me know here in green that I've paid it.
It's paid, right.
Okay. Even if I close out my window here, it should let me know in my vendor center that I have paid this as well. So if I go to my vendor center, here's my bill. It already says that I paid this bill.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Bill paid. It's to be printed, the printed check, but it's been paid. Okay. And then even if I go to my bill tracker, right? If I go to my bill tracker, look, now I'm only down to $142 for that for Wong and Son because I made a payment for my $1,500. So even this updates my accounts payable and lets me know that I no longer owe $1,642. I only owe $142.
Okay.
Okay, so that's how easy it is to enter in the data. And look how easy it is to just the accounting does it for you. QuickBooks does the accounting for you. You don't need to sit there and go to your accounts payable account and update the information. It's already done for you. Okay, so this is exactly why when I was talking to you guys earlier is in QuickBooks, as the user, you're going to enter in the information as a single entry, as in you're only looking at it one way. I entered my bill, I paid my bill, I'm only paying one way. And QuickBooks in the behind the scenes is going to say, okay, I'm going to credit my checking account because I paid money. I'm going to debit my accounts payable because I'm lowering the amount that I owe. So behind the scenes, it's already calculating that for you and it updates everything. So then when you pull up any information, it's already associated that it's already been paid for. Okay? Yeah, and that's how you enter a transaction and you pay for it.
All right.
Okay? So now that we're are going to be looking into the rest of the course, just give me one more second. Now the rest of this information that we're going to be looking at. So now that we were able to enter a bill and we were able to properly pay the bill, we need to be able to look at how we are able to print our checks. Okay? Because obviously our checks have been sent out, right? They have not been sent out, excuse my language. They are still pending in the printer because there are couple things that we forgot to have in there. And what's the most important thing in order for us to send out and to validate our transaction? What is the one thing that we need to have?
Signature.
A signature. That is correct. So right now, all the checks are in the printer right now. They don't have a signature. So in order to do that, I believe there's only one way to do it, and that's going to be file, and you're going to go to print forms. Okay? There's only one way to print your checks, and that's going to be here, to print forms. Okay? And then we're going to go scroll down and find our paychecks. We can either do print checks. We have checks right here, so we're paying our bills. So we need to go to our checks. Okay?
Oh, print forms. Okay, I haven't seen that before.
Okay? So in this case, it says I have nothing in here to be printed.
Oh.
Okay?
Well, it says check number though is 6001.
Where is 6001? Okay, good.
First check number is 6001, so
Okay, so let's make sure that we're in the correct one, which is our checking. Okay, and okay, so now the reason why I don't have anything in here is because I never saved anything to be printed. I already have selected my stuff and I printed it already. Okay, as in like I know, but it was really weird because we haven't even set up anything towards that bill now. So if I were to go to my check though, let's go ahead and go back to my check register. Okay, and oops, wrong one. So my check register, I need to open up this bigger. So let's go to my check register. Okay, and make sure I'm going to the correct check one. And then I'm going to go here. So because I've already assigned to print out my checks here, so I have my the one for Orlando Properties, right? If I double click this check right here, right? And let's say I select to have it be print later. Okay? I'm going to have it print later. And then I click OK. So actually in reality, and I say yes, I want to change this transaction. So now that if I were to go to here and I go to print forms and I say I want to print my checks, it should pop up right here. Okay, so I guess when I already assigned the numbers, it's automatically printing out from my printer already. But in this case, there are an exception to this if you are not going to assign the number just yet. So here I selected it. I'm going to print it later. Now with this one, I'm going to select this check. Okay, so select this check and I'm going to click OK. And then you're going to get this little window here that allows you to make changes to your check. So how do you want it to be printed? You want to do it voucher style. Voucher style is going to give you, well, what is the details into what that check is, right? Standard is going to be your standard bill with your copy of your information. With the bottom is going to have your check at the bottom. So these two kind of go in the same hand in hand, except voucher style is going to be the small one. You know what I'm talking about? Where the standard one is going to be a standard piece of paper.
Okay.
Where wallet style allows you to print just only the check. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if you look very carefully, you can see it's like 3 checks in one page. It's just going to allow you to print the checks. So in this case, I want to do voucher style. Okay? And then here, I want to apply a signature. Now, for some reason, it won't let me sign in here, like when I'm using my mouse. I don't know why. It's supposed to be able to activate it for me. But in this case, I don't need it to do it like that. What I'm going to do is I already have a picture already of my signature that I want to use. So if I go here, go into my accounting, QuickBooks portable file, and you guys this is included in your your classroom files as well. You have a signature picture right here, and it says blah blah blah, and you said okay. Now here is my signature, and I click OK. So if I print my check, it's gonna have my thing there. I can even use a logo if I wanted to. All right, I already have my signature on there. That's all I need, right? So and then I gotta make sure that when my paper is in the printer, I gotta make sure that it's upright. So then when you do print these checks, that you're not wasting that really special paper with that very special ink. Okay, and then you just click OK. Now, I don't have a printer set up, or I do not want to have to print out these checks, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. But, okay. But for this,
View the checks, right?
yes, you should be able to.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'll have to go to print forms again. Checks. Okay. Let me re-enter my signature so it's there. I click OK. If I want to put a logo, signature, partial page. So I think you'd be able to. Okay, so if I click OK, so I have this little thing right here that just tells me where I want to save it. I believe, yes, when you actually go into your printer settings and you select your printer option, you should be able to view exactly what's going to be printed. So in this case, because I don't want to attach my printer on it just yet, I'm just going to go ahead and cancel it and just click it.
Yeah.
But yes, When you print it, you should be able to view it just in case for any mistakes, okay?
Very
And in this
good.
case, right here, it still says to be printed because I didn't print it, but I'm going to go ahead and edit this information and say I did not print it later. I printed it now. And I'm going to save my transactions just so then it's recorded. Okay? So there it is. So that is how you do that one. Okay? Now I'm going to pay actually no. I'm going to continue to this. So now I am, let's say I made a mistake or somewhere or something's going on and I I I I don't know. Maybe I wrote on the check that I wrote it for the payment of July. Okay? Let's just say fictitiously. So what I can do is I can actually void this check. Now, oftentimes when you come across this, you definitely don't want to delete a check. Okay? Number one rule, never delete a check. Okay? Because if you delete a check, what's going to happen is there's going to be a hole in your number of sequence for your checks. And that's going to give you a red flag for if you have your auditor look at this. They're going to be like, why do you have missing checks in your books? Well, because I actually wrote the wrong check. No, they're not going to buy it. They're going to think that you're trying to fraud and that missing check number could be written out to you or you're just taking money out, XYZ, right? It's a potential wrong, it's a potential red flag for fraud. Yes, go ahead, Andrea.
Just void a check, right?
Correct, and that's yep, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So, there are many ways. There's actually only two ways you can actually void a check, and I try to explore as many options, but apparently there's only two ways you can void the check. You can right-click your transaction and click void bill payment, right? Or void the check. Okay.
Void and re-enter, right?
Yep. The second one is you can go to edit. If you go to edit, you'd be able to void the bill check right here.
Okay.
Okay, those are the only two ways that the book has discussed with you, but also how I explored this. There's only two ways that you can do it.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and void that check. And if I do that, it's going to populate right here that this check has been void. And what's going to happen is your money's going to zero out the check for you, and it's going to put back the money that you had taken out before.
Right.
Okay, so and again, if you plan to do that and you do end up writing a new check with a new number, what you're going to do is leave that check in your register. Don't remove it, don't delete it, don't hide it, because ultimately, again, we talked about this. It's potential fraud right there. So, and then on top of that, it tells you right here in the description anyways that this check has been voided. So I may need to go back and write a new check for this person, okay? But I'm not going to because we already know how to write a check at this point. Okay, so now we're going to be looking into, now we learned how to print a check and how to void the check, okay? So now we're going to be looking into, let me just look at my notes real quick. We're going to be looking into credit card transactions. Wow.
Credit card. What page? Oh, are you?
Wait, hold on. What's after void a check? Hold on, print a check, void a check. Oh, how to apply vendor credits and then credit cards. And then how to do the reports. Okay, so there's a lot more that we have to go through. Okay, so when we are dealing with our vendors, right? We have a few, I guess, options when it comes to like, okay, well, what happens if this person, right? We decide to, we're making a purchase to them, or they owe us something, right? Or we cancel an order for them. So what they're going to do is they're going to give us a vendor credit. Okay? So in this case, what the book shows you how to deal with your vendor credits is what does it say? If you are voiding an item, check okay, yes. Okay, yes. Okay. So if you are if you plan to return an item to a vendor or request to cancel a product, what's going to happen is a vendor's going to send you a credit memo, or they might just say okay, or they'll confirm it through an email, whatever it is. Now, you have options in regards to that credit memo, right? Now, oftentimes what vendors would normally do is if you've overpaid a statement, or if you, like if you return something, right? If you return something or if you overpaid something, they're going to send you a vendor credit. Now, what happens for me is they actually refund me. I don't even give them the option to not refund me. Now, in this one, you can use it to apply it to your bill. So instead of paying more, you pay less. Okay? And they don't have to send you a separate check for the amount that you overpaid for. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to go through my enter bills. And when I go through my enter bills, at the very, very top, you're going to see bill and you're going to see credit. Okay? And I'm going to go ahead and say Wong and Son, right? Because they billed me, right? And here, they're going to bill me they have billed me for the $142, right? Now, here I'm going to say that, so they're a subcontractor service. So I'm going to say I didn't have their services. So I'm going to double check what that bill is for before I enter this in. So I'm going to go back to my bill tracker. So it is for Wong and Son for $23.42. So $23.42. And what was the full amount for? The amount is for, what does it say at the top? Just 140,
Yeah,
142, just even, 142 even. Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm gonna go back to my bill here, back to my credit memo here. So here I'm gonna say canceled session. Okay, because I canceled the session, what's going to happen is I'm going to get a credit memo for 142 even, right? Because that's how much I'm going to reverse this bill by giving me a credit, right? Because I told him it was canceled, okay? And I'm going to have it done. Okay, well, that was done a long time ago, but I'm going to have it done on the 3rd of August. All right? Do I have a reference number? Yes, it's going to be 2436C. Okay? Why C? So because my original bill was 2436, right? When I add a C on here, at least I can recognize that this bill or this credit memo is going to be associated with that exact invoice or that bill number, right? And with a C, I'm indicating that I am having a credit, or that I'm receiving a credit for $142, right? And in my memo, I wrote here that it's for because I canceled the session. Anything else I need to write in here? Not really. It's up to you. I don't know what the bill was, what location it was for, so I'm going to leave that blank because I can always go back and edit it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save and close. Now it's going to give me this, okay, one or more items have not been assigned to a class. Okay, so I have to assign to a class. I'm going to go ahead and, okay, I don't know what class was it for. Was it, I'm going to, San Jose? I don't know what that bill was for.
the other one right below that,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't it be
where
there?
it said that we did not assign,
Uh-huh.
right below that it said cancel anyway or do it anyway.
Oh, save it anyway.
Save it, yeah, just save it.
I want to do that too, but like I don't know. Okay, all right, I'll go ahead and yeah, save anyway.
Yeah.
So there, I got that thing. So when I go ahead and let's say I do pay that bill, right? Let's say I'm gonna go ahead and pay that bill for Mr. Wong and Son, right? If I click
Mm-hmm.
that one, automatically it's gonna populate this. I mean, it's gonna populate that I have a credit. So when I apply my vendor credit, right, it says that credit available. If I select this, it's going to say, hey, don't forget you have a credit available to apply to this bill. And I'm going to go ahead and click done, right? So here, by doing this, it should have erased my entire bill out. So now it's zeroed out completely.
Oh, okay.
But I'm still gonna associate that I acknowledge that I am getting rid of this bill. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I do it this day, and I'll just say I'm gonna charge on my credit card. It's not gonna charge anything because I applied the credit to
Mm-hmm.
it, so it should charge me $0. In this case here, I put in my National Visa bank card, and I'm gonna go ahead and click OK. So now it's gonna give me this little window here to either whether I want to either pay more bills or should I be finished. I'm gonna go ahead and click done. And now if I go back to my bill tracker, I should have nothing in my bill tracker except for that 1,500, right? I already got rid of that bill. I applied the credit for it. I paid it off with my Visa credit card, but in this case, it was just a refund, okay? So that's what happens when if you have a refund or anything like that, you need to apply it to cancel out the bill. And that's essentially what a credit does. It either decreases it or it cancels the bill out instead of you going in there and just deleting the bill. Because in QuickBooks, it's not going to recognize it as and once you delete it, it's still going to linger there. You need to properly close it out by either paying it or using a credit to apply to the bill and zeroing it out. So in this case, that's what I did. I said I canceled this. They gave me a credit of $142. I applied it to my bill. Boom. Now that bill is completely gone because it's zeroed out. It's been paid for, quote unquote, paid for, but it just zeroed it out. So that's exactly what you do.
Right.
And that's exactly what you do. Right? Now we're going to go ahead and what did I say I was going to teach you guys again? Now we're going to go over credit card transactions. Yay! So that's how you get rid of those. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And let's look at our credit cards. Okay?
Okay.
So let me see how we're good
What
on
is your
time.
page number that you're on?
For credit cards?
Yeah, because I'm looking at on 121. It's printing checks, so I'm way off.
Yeah, no, I'm way past that.
Yeah.
Let me see, what is this one?
Oh, tracking company credit cards.
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. That's yeah, that's page 130.
130. Okay, so yeah. All right, 130. Okay, so here is tracking company credit cards. So again, you can use your credit card to pay for anything and everything, right? That's what the new generation is. We use credit cards to pay for everything now. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it to just pay for more office supplies. I don't know. I'm just gonna do a random scenario because in this case, let me see. What does it tell you to do? Yeah, purchase office supplies. So we do buy. So we end up buying more office supplies, and this time we are purchasing how much? We're gonna do Bay office supplies, okay? And we're gonna purchase some supplies from them. And we're going to purchase for the total amount of what? So we're going to put the date in for
8648.
8648. Yes, in the amount field. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and do that. So, in order to enter a credit card transaction, there are actually two ways you can do it. But in this, actually, let me see. Let me see if I can go into banking. This banking one that you can do. Yes. Wait. Order checks. Write a check. Enter credit card. Right here. You got enter credit card transactions right here under banking menu. Okay, that's one way. You have your third way by going into your second way by going onto your home page under enter credit card charges. All right, and the last way is a tricky way. You're commonly not going to most likely use this one, but in order to, let's say, when you do enter in your transaction for your credit card, right? Where do you go and find your credit card charges? You're going to go to your chart of accounts, okay? And you're going to look up your liabilities, which was your national. You okay there?
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to go into your national, where is it? Where is my national bank credit card? National Bank Visa credit card, right? Because this is a register. Oopsies, I hit the wrong one. Okay. Because it's a National Bank credit card, if I double tap it, I get a register
Okay, and that's accounts.
in your chart of accounts, correct. And here you can enter in your credit card transaction just like you entered in your check register. You can enter it right in here like that. Okay? But obviously the more proper way to do that is to just enter in your credit card transaction through either the home page or through the banking menu. So if I were to go ahead and enter credit card transaction, so here it's going to make sure that which credit card you're taking out of. So if you're like me, who has like 5 different credit cards, you want to put all of them in there. Okay, so you make sure that you know which one that you're using and which one that you are applying for this whatever transaction it is. So in this case, this was, what is it? Bay Office Supply. Okay, so I don't actually have them in my vendor list. So when I click enter, it's gonna ask me, oh, we don't recognize this person. So I'm gonna go ahead and quick add.
Yes.
Okay, what are they? Are they a vendor, customer, employee, or other? They are a vendor. Okay, so here I make that payment, and I'm gonna say that I made a payment on let's change the date. Let's say we're on the 10th of August. Okay. And then reference number. Okay, I know the reference number is going to be 6565432. Oh, jeez, 65432. All right, and the amount is for how much was it for, Lee?
8648.
8648. Okay, so that's how much I owe, and that's how much I'm going to charge on my credit card statement. Under my memos, I'm going to say purchase office supplies. Okay, and then here my account that's going to be associated would be obviously office supplies. All right, and my amount is for 8648. Do I need a memo here? It's pretty straightforward. I'll purchase supplies. Now, what class am I buying these supplies for?
It says San Jose.
San Jose. So I'm purchasing these supplies for my San Jose office, or for my San Jose store.
Okay.
All right. So here I go ahead and write San Jose right there. Boom. Okay. My date is there, my amount is there, my reference number is there, and everything looks good. Okay? So once I've done that, I'm going to click Save and Close. All right? Now, again, once I've done that, where do I actually see where my credit card transaction goes? Okay?
Your
What did you say, Andrea?
You'll see it in right check.
Why would you see it in your right check to use a credit card to pay for this, not a check?
Oh, because you have an in their credit card. Maybe probably yeah.
You're breaking in and out.
Accounts will be one way, right?
Yep, chart of accounts. You're gonna go to your National Visa credit card, the one that we just looked at earlier. So where is my National Visa? Right here. National Bank Visa credit card. If I double tap it, it's gonna pull up my credit card transactions. So here it shows me that I've entered in today that I entered in for Bay Office supplies for the amount of $86.48, right? And it gives me my balance is 86.48. So that means I made a new credit card transaction, and that's my new running balance. Okay? All right. And the same thing, if you're going to make a payment to a credit card, you just write a check and make a payment to the credit card. Pretty simple. Okay? Yeah. And that's how you do credit card transactions.
Okay. That's
So that one's simple. All right. Last few things that I'm going to be looking at is I'm going to show you how you can use QuickBooks to create reports. Now, reports are very important when it's dealing with a certain aspect into your company. Now, let's say you are the accounts payable, right? You're in charge of every bill that comes in, and you're also in charge of every bill that gets paid. So with this option, you can go to reports, and then we can go to vendors and payables. And from here, you can actually get to see a list of all of your payables. You can choose by either vendor balance. So if I go to vendor balance summary, right? This is going to allow me to look at all my vendors and for a given period of time. So in this case, I want to show all my vendors. Let me see, what am I doing? Vendor balance. Okay, so right now, I only have one vendor, Orlando Properties, and it's for $1,500. Right? This is looking at any vendor that has a balance. So if I look at my vendor center again, right? So where's my vendor center? Or where's my vendors? Okay, I missed it. Oh, I missed it again. Vendors, okay? If I go to my vendor center and I look at this column right here, right? You can get a quick peek of all the money that people owe you. In this case, no one owes me or I don't owe them anything, okay? Except for Orlando Properties. That's the only person I owe right now. And, I also owe this person here, right? Because I've collected sales tax. I need to pay them. So those are the only two vendors I have that are owe. And if I were to exit out of here, it shows me that as well. But in this case, it only shows me for this time period that I only owe for August 10th, right? It's specific towards my my year. Okay, so that transaction for the sales tax, right? That was done back in 2019, right? I'm dealing with 2020. As you can see, the date is at the top right here for 2020. And you can toggle the date by going up here and saying, well, when do you want to look at this, the period frame from? So if I were to select, I don't know, some random date in 2018, 19, let's do December 2018, right? And if I were to do all the way to now, which is August 15, okay? And then if I were to click refresh at the top of my page, there you go. Oh, nope, I still don't show that person. That is weird. It's supposed to pull up everything since 2020, and I guess I owe that money for a long time now. Way past 2019. So, yes. But yeah, you should be able to see every single vendor that has a balance. And in this case, I don't owe anybody money. Okay, but when we look further on down to our little scenario, we will be incurring a lot of bills and we would have a lot of customers that owe us money as well. Okay, so that is looking at how a vendor balance report works for you. Okay, so other things that you can do is you can also look at vendors and payables. You can look at accounts payable just in general. You can also do that for your bill tracker. You can look at all your unpaid bill details. Okay, so you can look at that. You can also look at transaction lists by vendors. So if I were to go through here, right, I get to see a list of all the things that happened just in the month of April that I just incurred, right? So I bought supplies from Ace Supplies. I bought some supplies from Bay Office Supplies. I even bought more supplies off of Office Supply Store. And I also attempted to pay Orlando Properties, or they billed me. And here I still have an outstanding bill from Wall Thing, which I actually paid off. Remember, I entered it in with a credit. So these are all the transactions that happened by vendor. And that's what's really cool. All this happened in August, and this is everything I did today.
Okay.
So you can have a list of, basically a list of all the transactions that happened. So it's really cool what you can do. All right.
And then you can print that out if you wish.
Of course you can. You have the print option up here at the top. You can even email it if you want to. You can print it. Yeah, you can print it. You can email it. You can even customize it. Okay, if you only wanted to show specific things. Now I will show you how to customize your sales, not your sales form, but I'll show you how to customize your customer statements in chapter 2. So because like for vendors, I mean, this is for you to keep, not for your to send out to other people. So it's up to you if you want to customize it. Okay. And then I'll teach you about how to memorize reports later on in the chapters. Okay, so that is chapter 4 for you. We looked at how vendors are placed in here. We looked at what happens when an expense has been incurred. How do you pay it? What are the options you have when you're looking at that? So again. Yes, and the most important thing is if you use enter bills to create an accounts payable, you need to use the pay bill option in order to decrease your accounts payable. Okay, that's the very most important thing. Any questions in regards to chapter 4?
No, I mean, there's a lot to it.
There's a lot to it. And again,
Going back over it.
yes. And again, there are a few things that I skipped around, such as actually looking at sales tax. So I want you to, when you pay sales tax, I believe paying your credit card is also one of them. Paying your credit card is straightforward. It's straightforward. You just write a check. Okay? And then explore the other reports that you can do. And I went over Bill Tracker and what the extensive of Bill Tracker is. So other than that, oh wait, we forgot to do the chapter review. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay? All right, so
I definitely need to go over this chapter.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, there's a lot of information. Yes.
Yep, a couple more times.
I think I'm getting it, but I think if I go over it another time.
Yeah. No worries. No worries. Okay.
We have the weekend.
Seriously.
And also, you have this as an actual recording. So, because you don't have your book just yet, I would highly recommend you go get your book so you can practice this again. All right?
Oh, definitely.
Right. So here we're going to be looking at our review questions. Okay. So select the best answer, okay, to each of the following. All right. Number one, okay, so you may record a payment to your vendor by A, recording a, what is that, a manual check. B, using the write a checks option. You can either use the enter bills to record an accounts payable and then use pay bills to open the bill, or
All of
D,
the
all of the
above.
above. Yes.
Yeah, I get all the, yeah, definitely all
Yes.
of the above.
Okay.
My
So
God, after 30, 40 minutes of everything. Right? It's all about all those, right?
yes,
Yes, you're
yes,
right.
yes. So that's why I was asking you guys this very specific question, is because I want to make sure that you understand this, because this is a question that they pose to you as an option to pay your bills.
Oh,
So here it
wow.
is. So yes, so here it does say specifically to record a payment. So yes, you are
Yes,
correct on
exactly.
that.
Or
I said to pay it. Yes, record
I
it.
know that
Yes.
limited the other answers I had in my mind. Is I said, okay, well, not
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
really
Well,
record the payments, how to do that, but she says, how do you pay it? And
yeah.
the only thing I could think of is like credit card or a
Yeah,
check.
right.
So
Okay,
yes.
all right.
Okay, that was question number one. All right, question number two says, to display the vendor center. Well, how do you do that? A, click on the vendors on the
A, I'm
QuickBooks.
sorry. Go ahead.
B, click on the vendor's icon on the icon bar. C, select the vendors on the menu and then select vendor center. Or D, A, B, or C.
I have D, I think.
A, B, or C.
Yes.
D
Yes.
and C.
And this is why I
Yeah,
talked to you guys about this too, is how do you get to your vendor center? There are three exact ways.
Three, right. Those are three ways.
Yes. Okay, so you have your home page. At the very top, there's like this little tab that says vendors. You click that, it will take you straight to your vendor center. Your menu bar, it's pretty straightforward. You click the menu, you click the vendor in the menu, it says vendor center right there. And your icon bar will automatically take you to the center. So,
Right, right.
okay. Good. So, number three, you can add a vendor. How
Oh
or
my God,
when?
I hope we get that on the exam. That's a good question on the
Yeah.
exam.
All right, A, only at the beginning of the fiscal year.
Nope.
B, only if you were only if you were purchased over $600 from a
No,
no, okay, I'll just say it.
no.
And then C, only at the beginning of
Nope.
the okay, and then D, any time by selecting new vendors at the vendors. Yes, okay,
Yes.
good. All right, good.
Yes.
That one is a straight dead giveaway.
Yeah.
Okay.
We like that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good one.
Now you never know. Every test is different, so you never know. Okay. So number four, let's answer. Okay, so which statement is true? Okay, so we gotta look for the one that's actually true. Okay. A, QuickBooks records each bill payment in a bank account. Okay, or a bank register, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Okay. Which it's okay. And the accounts payable register. Okay. So the statement that this is asking is QuickBooks, when it records each bill payment, it will use your check register or your bank account register, and it will also use your accounts payable register. Okay, that's answer number one. Okay, trying to make sense of it. B says bill payments, okay, increase the balance in both the checking account and the accounts payable account. Is that true?
No, that's wrong.
That's wrong. Good. It decreases your check
It
account.
is,
Yeah.
right.
Exactly.
All right. And then C, you should assign jobs to all accounts taken.
No, it's
No.
I mean, sorry,
Oh,
sorry, all discounts taken. I'm sorry, my bad. I read that wrong.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, that one, that has
that's
nothing
good
to
to know.
do. Yeah, that has nothing to do with anything. Yes. All
right.
right, and then lastly, D, you cannot make partial payments on a bill.
And
That's
that's not
not
right.
true.
That's not
So
right.
it's A.
It's A.
Yes.
Right.
A yes, when you're every time you record a bill payment, it does affect your check register and it does
Right.
affect your accounts payable account. Yes. Now the last one is I didn't actually talk about this, but it's part of your book as well. Yes, you can make partial payments. It's the
Yeah.
same thing as making a payment to your credit card, right? You don't have to pay the whole thing at one time, right? And that's going to be
Right.
under the section when you pay your credit cards. That yes, you could do partial bill payments.
Yep.
All right, number 5, which QuickBooks features allows you to separate your incomes and your expenses by line of business, um, department, location, um,
Oh,
profit
okay.
center,
Yeah.
or any other means. Okay,
B.
A. Okay, yeah, B is correct. Yeah, job costing. I'm going to talk about this in chapter 2. So next week, it's going to be
Okay.
specifically towards your customers. So that's what job costing is. It's when you specifically have a task for a specific person. Okay, classes. Yes, your classes is what you can use to separate your income and your expenses based on either department, location. So again, yes, that is
Right.
it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The third one, C, customer types. No, you no.
No.
How to no? That's not gonna.
No.
And vendor types. No,
No.
you can't because expenses. Okay, income and expenses is what it says. Your customers are only going to be toward your income. Your vendors are going to be towards your expenses only. So
Okay.
they don't flex on both. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, B is correct.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. So again, do you guys have any questions in regards to what happened today?